We're back with the awaited video for the E46 M3s. We are already picking it up in the middle of the process. Right now we have the front core support and the basic front end off of the E46 M3 Coupe. I got my friend here. E46 M3 Coupe is basically pretty much stripped down in the front end. We got the dirty wiring harness out of this car that was somehow annihilated by the Taliban that put it into the car. So now we're trying to put this car back to stock. So far, everything looks decently okay now that it's kind of been ripped out. Unfortunately, my assumptions were kind of right that this frame rail is good, but the strut tower definitely has seen some brighter days. Unfortunately, this engine bay is pretty much junk at this point, but we're gonna swap as much as we can from the convertible car into this one, and we'll try to make this car as nice as possible. So we'll see how far we get tonight. Might have to pick this up tomorrow, but Coupe is getting stripped down, and then the vert will be stripped down next. Hopefully this works out. Expectations are very low. Can I get a cleanup on aisle 5? We have a certified squirter on deck. We're coming back the next day. The Coupe is pretty much in shambles. We have all the parts kind of laid out throughout the garage. The hood right here, we got the fenders, the core support, the front bumper. Everything seemed to be decently okay. It was a little better than what we actually expected, but you can definitely see where it was hit. On the core support, you can see quite a bit of rivets and a bunch of look like hammer dings coming up to the actual car. The frame rail is perfect. All the studs are good. Everything is pretty much perfect and factory. Only thing right here is where you can see where the fender bolts up. You can see how it is a little bit wavy. Definitely was hit and massaged back into place. Same thing with right here. It definitely has seen some brighter days. The wiring harness is absolutely disgusting. We ripped out a bunch of stuff over here for the aftermarket halos and the corner lights, which are disgusting. So all this extra wiring was just a bunch of stuff that wasn't needed. So we have all the parts for the Coupe right here, which are going to go onto the vert. Now we are going to disassemble all the stuff from the vert, put all the car basically from stock to ricer, and then my ricer car back to stock. So that's how we sit right now. That's what we're going to work with.
You ever seen the guy that goes around Vegas to all the parlors and he goes like, "You guys do rubber to it?"
Current update, we got the hood and part of the front end apart right now. Got my beautiful T-Hees on the ground, trying to savor the OEM headlights. Surprisingly, the car so far is all OEM, so it's looking up, but for some reason, all the ballast and all the modules for the headlight are dangling into the corner, which is pretty on par with what happened with my Coupe. So we're making some progress. So far, so good. Then we're just gonna drop the subframe, take this engine out, and put it in there. This is the core support out of the Coupe originally. This shit does not even have a BMW stamp on it. This is the one from the vert. Bam, actually stamped. This car, freaking Alibaba wiring and all the parts associated with it. So far my garage looks like a chop shop, but it is what it is. Hopefully we can put this car back to somewhat normal. I'm pretty sure this aux fan is squeaking, but I don't know if I want to solve Da Vinci's code to swap out the aux fan. We might just leave it as is for right now, and I'll just have to buy another one later, and we'll just have to redo everything we just did at another time and a later date. But also, this front bumper definitely had somebody nibbling on it. A little gerbil probably lived in there and the shit got hungry. But I'm gonna need an OEM front bumper. I'm probably gonna need OEM aux fan. Much other things are probably gonna need to be associated with it. The headlights actually came out pretty good, but they're definitely gonna need new lenses. The corner lights are OEM, actually, surprisingly. So everything should be pretty much 100% factory once again, except my wiring harness just looks like junk. This one actually looks pretty decent. I think the only thing really else we need from this car, this expansion tank is actually pretty nice and everything clips in. This is the one from my car, so I already took this out, but my expansion tank, eczema, that shit looks like it's flaking apart and it's got a skin condition, but we're gonna figure it out. We're making progress. I got the master mechanic right here. This is where we're at right now. Both cars are in the exact same state. I think the only thing left to take from this car is the mirrors for sure, and we're contemplating taking that entire door just because we want the car to fully match. I think my door was repainted at some point. The door looks fine. It looks a little bit yellower, and you can see like some orange peel right up here, but the rest of the door is fine. So I think it's possible we might take that door, but we're trying to figure it out with the harness, because either something's messed up with my door because the window doesn't go up and down when you open the door. So we had to figure something out with that. And then we have to make sure everything else is going to match and fit. But other than that, both cars are ready to be reassembled. We got the wheels back on, and my garage is full of shit. Things have taken a turn for the absolute worst. We got a perfect alignment here, alignment up here, alignment there. There is no alignment here whatsoever. I have arrived at the frame shop. The frame machine, yes sir. This is how to get your car dialed in, for sure. Guaranteed. You just literally engaged the e-brake. Go forward. Go forward. All right. We gotta take the core support off.
Did it move anything?
Yeah, the core support. We gotta take the core support off.
This is probably not the best idea.
No, definitely not. The mobile frame shop.
Seems like you're not minding.
No, I'm definitely minding. Attempt number 2. All right, go a little. Slow. Slow. All right, you're not pulling it at all. Slow, slow, slow. Go a little.
What? We're flying to Philadelphia. Oh, hell no! Oh, hell no!
Oh no, don't tell me that happened.
You fucked us.
Nice, very nice.
I told you it could get worse. It's not working out as expected.
Trying this?
Guys, he's told me moments before this, bro, it can't get any worse. Literally. Fixing the mistakes. We try to fix someone else's mistake, and now we have our own mistake.
Own mistake.
Own mistake.
It's lining up, man. Look at the holes.
I'm looking at it. I'm looking at the hole.
Don't look at that.
Oh wait, you're talking about the bolt holes?
Yeah,
Oh,
not
I was
that
talking about the Grand Canyon in my frame rail.
Oops.
New apron coming soon. So it looks like, unfortunately, even after all of this, I still need to take the engine out, disassemble everything, and get my engine bay painted, strut tower swapped, and an apron swapped. So definitely looks like this will be, definitely looks like this is gonna be a drift car and not something that's gonna be nice. If you see this on Marketplace, shh, don't tell nobody, okay? Don't tell anybody. Clean title, never been in an accident. Never been in an accident. 25,000 OBO, I know what I have. After the frame shop, this is the new setup. I'm curious to see when the sun comes out bright enough if it's actually gonna match. It looks good in the dark, but everything looks good in the dark, even your mother. So we're gonna try and wait and see if the sun comes out. But this car was definitely 100% repainted. That was already my assumption. Buying the car, I already figured that, but it looked decent enough. You can definitely see on the backside of the fenders, it does have some overspray and some markings, but my car, nobody masked any of this stuff off. Everything was literally just sprayed as is. The body shop ran out of masking tape and plastic, so they just, here you go, bud, ready to go. But this car is pretty much totaled anyway as is. That car, I love it with my whole heart, but it has a T30 Torx mark in the back door now. What was mechanic did that. Anyways, That car needs a full repaint to fully match. This car is gonna need a full repaint, apron swap, fender liner all the way taken out, and doing a strut tower swap. Then this car is gonna be absolute junk when we're done with it. And then at the end of the day, I got an Avis Blue M5 that needs a full paint job, and I still want an Imola red one. So I have 4 cars that I don't want. What have I done with my life? Can I get a redo? All this for a dirty ass engine with a crusty ass eczema freaking reservoir that's not even clipped in. What have I done with my life? This is why you should always grow up with a dad and not a single mother. This is what happens. We're gonna make the best of it, but expectations are getting lower by the hour. Hopefully at the end of the day, damn, that door is hella different color. I just lowered my expectations a little more.
You need to stop looking at it.
I need to get rid of this thing. Alpine White, baby. Alpine White 3, because it's 3 different colors. That's why.
That looks perfect.
We are making progress. 1 out of 2 sides looks okay. Hey, actually, this gap right here that's pretty money. Oh, but it looks like it needs to go back. No, I think that shit will match up perfect. This definitely needs to go back and up. But at least the side that's up, it's the side that's lining up. The side that's lining up, bro, on camera, this shit looks good. I hate that I'm gonna have to put on that ricer ass lip. That front bumper is bad. But I'm gonna need an OEM front bumper for sure. It's gonna need some maintenance, full paint job, paint correction, and some PDR, but that ain't nothing, right? That ain't nothing. That ain't nothing 10 grand can't fix.
When are you off on here? This pace.
I gotta work next 2 days and I'm off 2 days. I have Wednesday and Thursday off. Update, we close the hood 4 million times. Gaps are not cooperating. It's still high. It's still high. That shit won't go down.
Fuck this one, dude.
Why won't go down? How's the gap on this? Pretty good. All this for a fender. There's a fat ass dent. Paint chips everywhere. Hood's paint chipped. And this doesn't line up no matter what we do. We're low key. Literally, we probably could have left it the first time. Just said, you know, good enough.
Yeah.
Blindly lining it up was better than doing it technically. So we're having a little bit of issue, but we're trying to work it out. The passenger side looks pretty well matched. I haven't seen the driver's side in the sunlight, so we don't know if the door is gonna match, which we already know that it doesn't match.
I'm gonna try something.
If you can see on camera, it definitely looks.
What's this?
I'm watching.
Wait, why doesn't it go down?
I'm watching.
What the fuck? I left the hinge completely loose and it won't go down.
Careful, big dog. We're on Pittsburgh right now. So it's better.
That's where it's gonna be.
Oh God. I say we take the washer out of the bolt.
There is no one.
The washer out of the bolt. Then it would sit. This thing's being a little pendejo. Little puta. The sun?
They did something, Chase.
The sun is almost down. It's like 3 o'clock. We got
20 minutes in.
literally.
What about now? The hinge is 100% loose.
It's exactly where it's been the whole time.
Yeah,
I don't think it's adjusting at all.
It doesn't make a difference.
I mean, it feels good right here, but then as soon as you go right here, I mean, at least the paint looks good on camera, but that's it. It doesn't look that great in person.
So you gotta lie and tell them it looks real.
Guys, this is a mint condition collector's car. I bought this from EAG. Yeah, you're throwing off everything you just worked for.
These ways.
All right, At the end of the day, guys, I think I'm just gonna end up keeping the convertible. Let's just put everything back to the way it was. We're gonna put all these parts right back onto the convertible. I'm just gonna keep that car. So we'll just take everything back off. This is, at least I found a 10 mil and a razor blade that had a little bit of rust on it. So if crying myself to sleep at night doesn't fix my worries, I got a fresh razor blade with my name on it.
That's better.
Well,
I guess not.
but it's now, no, I honestly, that's passable.
Okay.
But
Look.
it's too high over here.
Look.
Go. Why is it flexed up?
It's not. It's just, you know how it springs? I need to adjust them.
Oh, okay.
So the back is cool?
I say we just leave it.
Okay, let me, what about now? Fill the whole line.
Fill your hole. That's passable.
Okay.
I say we leave it because it's gonna get dark out and it's gonna be a bitch. So I say that's passable for right now. What about the gap?
The gap is fine.
You're lying.
Gap is fine.
You're lying. This shit needs to go to the dentist. This shit got a freaking tooth gap. Right now we are settling for less. It's getting dark. It's getting cold. Hood,
Looks pretty good.
real mid. Bumper, real mid. Paint color, getting worse.
Hey, that door doesn't match at all.
Nope, it's like yellow.
Alright, let's finish.
All this and we still need to swap the mirrors and a whole door.
Where's my extension?
Yeah, that door is yellow.
This side's fresh.
My Coupe E46 M3 rebuild. That was never on Coupe, but was definitely in an accident.
No.
So, okay.
I almost hit the bumper. Where's the bracket?
I'm not seeing much movement. So now we only need one washer instead of two.
I can put it more in.
Put it all the way in. I'm not shy. And then we're just gonna swap out the steering rack because I'm pretty sure mine's got some damage. Hey, do you have a 150 mil Allen?
Why? What am I looking?
I got a rat tail hanging out, and I got a rodent on my headlight. Someone commented on my video that this car is too far gone, and they said please don't destroy the convertible because your car is already shit, and there's no fixing it. That guy was definitely right.
Toes all the time.
Yeah, with the dikes. Are those really called dikes?
Yeah.
With the Ellen DeGenereses?
Alright, what light do you want to use right here?
What do you mean?
What corner light do you want to use? The new one or the old one?
You told me to use the OEM.
Okay.
Well, it's gonna be a little yellowed compared to the extra clear ones, but then low-key I could just replace them when I replace the lens, because then it won't match. They won't be too clear. My headlight lens
You
will
gotta
be.
put the bottom trim before this or no?
No.
That was a very long.
Well, I don't think it matters, to be honest.
Ooh, look at that.
Yeah, that's a mean overhang.
Where?
I don't remember how it's supposed to look. That's what happens when you don't take reference photos. As long as the headlight needs to line up. That's what's important. But then also, it is what it is. We'll play with it again later. We're making progress. How's the progress on that coming?
This one.
This looks so bad on camera.
What does?
Guys, don't worry. I found the perfect solution to this.
Where's the? What goes in first?
We gotta put in the MAF and the filter. The sun unfortunately went to sleep on us, but we are in the final steps of the process. Now with my flash on, let's see how different the color is. Different here. Not that bad here. It's,
Fill it with water?
yeah, it's not leaking. I
Started again?
No. What's gonna be the difference?
No light on your dash?
Oh yeah, fuck that light. I mean, freak that light. What'd you think, bud?
I think it looks way fucking better than it did before.
Got too excited and I started working before I forgot to pick up the camera. So we're hopping straight into it. We have the vert in the garage. The coupe is outside. It's pretty much done. Only thing left really is to somehow figure out what we're gonna do with the door on the actual vert. The door is in perfect condition. These mirrors are great. I gotta take the passenger one off, and then I'm trying to figure out what I need to do to take this entire door and just put it on my car, because this actually matches and we don't have to swap the mirror. And this glass actually functions as it should. My car doesn't, so it could be the module or something is kind of wrong. We tried to reprogram it and get it back in function, but it did not work. So we're gonna figure out what we can do and swap the door. I got this car in the garage now. We threw the hood on roughly, fenders are on roughly. By myself right now, keeps turning off. I'm by myself right now, so I'm gonna do what I can and get this car back up as close to finish as possible. I threw the fenders on last night real quick when I got home from work. We threw the hood on before we left. I threw on the core support real quick. We're gonna have to figure out what we're gonna do with this, but I'm gonna line up the fenders right now. I already got the top and the hood kind of lined up. And the only thing needs to be bolted in is at the bottom and through the doors, and just match up those gaps real quick. Then we'll throw in the headlights, the miscellaneous, and then we should be good. We'll figure out what we can. Figure out a wheel setup. I got my tires finally for the other EC7s I have, so I gotta go get those mounted. I just kind of don't want to destroy my car. Still got the Arc 8s brand new that need to go on the M5, but if these can fit, I think these will look sick on the M5. I don't know, we're gonna figure it out, but one step at a time. Let's get this car back to normal and drivable and actually together. Also gonna throw this on the E46 M3, take off the Rogue engineering and put on this Dynan. Should be a little bit deeper. We'll see how I like it. And then this car already has the stock muffler on it, so whatever, I can keep this as a backup or the Rogue as a backup, which whatever I like more will stay on the car, and whatever I don't like will probably just stay on the shelf with a bunch of other stuff that I do not need. All right, let's get into it and let's keep working. We finally have both cars fully put back together. The vert is in way worse shape than when it started, but it looks way better on this car than it did on the coupe. We got the coupe idling, warming up. We're about to take it across the street and get some beauty shots of each car. I wish I could take them together, but I don't have anybody with me right now. So hopefully before this car goes, we'll get some side-by-side shots and do a little bit of a comparison on the coupe manual versus the SMG vert. Do a little bit in the future, but let's take it across the street and get some beauty shots and show off each car and how everything went. The coupe is pretty much complete. We definitely have a few more minor touches to make. Once again, I still need to swap the mirrors and figure out a situation with that door. But other than that, the car actually looks really, really good. The only thing kind of annoying is that I'm definitely gonna end up having to order a fresh new bumper, but I think I can get a Euro bumper, get rid of the side markers, make it a little more clean. I didn't want to keep this lip on here, but underneath the lip was pretty much destroyed. The front bumper itself definitely has a bunch of rock chips, scratches, dings, cracks, all types of stuff in the paint. So unfortunately, I ended up buying an entire Alpine White car, like you guys know, in order to kind of avoid paint work, but it's gonna be kind of inevitable, especially with a car this age, unless I'm buying a really expensive example. I'll go ahead and in the future, for right now though, it's definitely good and 1,000 times better than what it was. Yeah, so I'll order a front new bumper and we'll go ahead and get the trim pieces for it. I'm not sure if I'm gonna run a lip on this car or not, It definitely doesn't look bad as is right now, but it's definitely not my style. Fitment needs to be dialed in. We have the brand new Apex wheels, brand new tires at the house, so fitment needs to be dialed in. This car definitely needs coilovers, all new suspension arms, bushings. Still have the steering rack that needs to be swapped. The car doesn't have that stalling issue after cleaning the throttle bodies, but steering definitely feels like there's something a little bit iffy going on, so we'll probably end up swapping the steering rack and doing a suspension overhaul in the works. Get the stance of this car dialed in, make it feel better, make it handle a lot better, because this car definitely feels great, but feels a little bit all over the road, and I know for sure suspension is definitely pretty much as worn as can be. So we also have the Dynon muffler that I can go ahead and throw on. The car currently has the Dynon intake, which looks great, is super expensive and no longer available, so that's a pretty good come up, that and the muffler. That'll be a good combo. I don't mind how this car sounds anymore, but I think the Dynon has a little bit of a deeper tone, and I think it would definitely be a little bit better. Who knows, we'll see how it goes, but I'm extremely happy with how this came out. All the gaps pretty much line up perfectly. You can see right here, all the hood gaps are pretty much perfect all the way through. Coming over, same thing on the driver's side. They are pretty much as good as we could get it for right now. I don't think it really needs to be adjusted. Everything lines up pretty much perfectly. Bumper fitment is good, hood fitment is good, fenders line up great, paint match is literally perfect. On the passenger side, it is perfect, and in the sunlight, you cannot tell anything on camera, you cannot tell anything on person. Only thing is, like I've mentioned probably 5 times now, is this door. It's not in the direct sunlight, so it's kind of hard to tell, but you can definitely see that it is like a little more yellow than the rest of the car. I believe the rear of the car is all factory paint. We swapped this from a random Alpine White E46 M3. We picked that up in one of the last part run videos. Literally matches perfectly. Only real thing is this door, and a little up here you can see there's way more orange peel than normal. Right here the mirror has its signs of wear, it is a little bit loose, so luckily the Vert has legit perfect mirrors that we can go ahead and snatch. Other than that, this car just needs some good maintenance to keep it healthy and keep it alive. We're definitely going to end up doing all the mandatory maintenance, doing the big 2, because subframe is already done, so we'll make sure that everything else is pretty much bulletproofed as is. Interior luckily is in pretty good shape. I hate to say it, but looking back at some other pictures, I really miss how clean my impulse cloth was on my super shitty E46 M3. As far as updates on this side, we don't have any as of right now. I want to go back to a stock shifter. I want to take these off the pedals. I want to clean these seats up as much as I can. They have very little wear. This is really the only thing right here is some markings. I want to see if I can get that taken care of, cleaned up, swap back to normal, better condition steering wheel, take this crappy airbag out, take this trim out, probably end up doing the CSL console or something similar to get rid of that armrest because it's pretty much in the way, and I hate that it's black. Does not match at all. The sound system isn't terrible in this car, but it needs to be gone through and pretty much rewired and made better. Luckily it has a good sub that is custom made to actually fit in the trunk, and I like it, but it's gonna need to be rewired and gone through. But other than that, interior is in pretty good condition. Extremely hard to find cinnamon interior for this year and this age and this mileage, so I really do enjoy impulse cloth and red. So you know, this channel is most known probably for interior swapping, so if I can find a great set of red or impulse cloth seats, I'll probably just hold on to it and keep it for the while, but that's it. I'm not getting rid of cinnamon, and I just like having backups or extra, and if I get a good deal, that's what we'll do. Popping the hood, we'll wait for the massive truck to go by. Now that that is out of my way, the actual engine bay of the car came out pretty good. As you know, we've had a little bit of an incident over here. Not gonna talk about that, not gonna worry about that, but this fortunate this intake covers up the nastiness of what was under there. So this car actually, structural was pretty much sound. It had that little bit of apron damage We try to pull that off as much as I can, and that haunts me to this day. So in the future, depending on how well I really get this car sorted, I'll probably end up repairing that or doing an actual slight apron actual swap. I'll go to the junkyard. I'm pretty sure they're the same, so I'll probably pull one off of just a normal base coupe and swap that over just for peace of mind and actual having this car clean. So as far as the engine bay goes, now we have this intake. I cleaned up that sticker and got rid of the crappiness that was on it. This engine bay desperately needs to be cleaned and gone through. Depending how long I keep this car, long term, or I really love this car, but I'm not gonna lie, Imola red on Imola red is amazing, but I'm also trying to get Imola on Imola E39 M5. So depending on what happens, we shall see. But engine bay, we need to get this coolant expansion tank taken care of. This is disgusting. I was able to swap the reservoir filler neck, so now it actually fits and isn't broken. This engine bay needs to be cleaned up. The same homie that helped me do this actually has dry icing at his shop that he works at, so possibly in the future, I think he said like $1,500 to get the car done. So depending how in depth and how crazy they go later down the line, I would definitely like to do that and get this cleaned up as much as possible. But again, that's long term, and only if this car is worthy of it after suspension and maintenance and getting this car pretty much dialed in. Then we'll worry about the beauty of the engine bay. But as far as that goes, that's pretty much it for the coupe. It is lovely and fantastic. Made me enjoy this car 1,000 times more. Now we have a real hood. It's crazy how light this real hood is. It's crazy that the carbon hood is a massive difference in weight. So actually saved a few pounds going back to this. Now we have all OEM front panels. Everything was genuine. We did the core support swap, and it actually has a genuine BMW with part numbers that's actually metal and solid. The one that was in this car definitely had to come from a random coupe because it was extremely flimsy and felt like paper, had a bunch of dents, had no part numbers, no BMW stamping, and was a completely different style, size, and everything. So now this car is pretty much all the way back to factory OEM, lined up, measured, pretty much as good as it gets. We fixed some of the wiring. Definitely has some remnants from the LED corner lights, but now we are fully back to stock, and this car is beautiful and makes me appreciate this car way more. So we'll get it dialed in. We have a few more things to touch on for this car, but really it came out very, very, very good. This is what I expected, so nothing out of the ordinary, nothing too unexpected happened. Little, but not very much. We just got to dial it in and we shall be good. So let's go home, switch over to the vert and get that hunker out of here, and show you how disgusting we made a not that bad of a car. Only lights on this dash are for the windshield washer fluid. I think just because it's low, we emptied out both tanks while going in. Both cars have that light on the dash now. I did not even try refilling it. I was gonna do it right now, but I was like, you know, I'll just go film the video. So I'm pretty sure filling that up, we should be good and a-okay. But let's go home, grab the vert, and bring that piece of junk back. We are back in the vert. This thing is fresh and hideous at the exact same time. This side isn't that bad. The only thing that really throws it off is the front bumper and this fender being a little bit of a different shade white. It's much more noticeable on camera than it is in person. But again, I'm the one here in person, you're the one behind the camera, so this thing looks like shit. Besides that, and the most notable things, this hood lined up 10 times better with me lining it up on this car than it did previously on the actual coupe. I don't know what they did or how they lined it up. I don't know if it was a shop or personal, but this side definitely has quite a bit of flex in it, being carbon, and I'm pretty sure this thing is like 10 years old at this point. It definitely has gained a lot of flex and a lot of movement in the actual carbon. You can see from the actual carbon vents, this thing has definitely seen its days. which is unfortunate because not that I like this hood, not that I'd ever buy it, and not that I'd ever install it, but I do see these things reselling for like $2 grand. So obviously I'm gonna be selling this on the car because it matches, and I'm not dealing with paint work on a car that I'm just selling. So this will be up to the buyer. But honestly, this on a coupe is terrible and disgusting. This on a vert really isn't that bad. I don't like it, but I don't hate it. The vert is already kind of crappy to begin with, so throwing on some more crappy parts doesn't make it any worse. I mean, 2 negatives equal a positive, right? So now my vert is a little bit riced out. That's okay. The front bumper fits absolutely terrible. There is this gap, which is surprisingly less than when it was on my coupe, but it did line up against the fender, so I'm not sure what happened there. But there definitely is this gap here. This waviness in the actual bumper, I could possibly take this bumper back off, raise up the actual crash support carbon bar, but again, there's really not much work trying to go all the way through that just to make it line up. It's still going to be crap. This side fit a little bit better, which is crazy because I just bolted this side on. I just bolted this side on roughly, and I actually already raised that side when doing it. I just randomly bolted this one. I was like, you know what? Let me raise this one up a little bit. I still raised it. Still is quite a bit wavy and doesn't really fit, but this bumper is a cheap Chinese plastic one, so it's kind of expected. This gap is not terrible on the sides, but in the middle, you can get some finger gap in there. So 3 or 4 fingers, she's pretty loose. Other than that, the front, the fenders lined up pretty good. I don't know how on this car, or on, sorry, my car, I don't know how that was so misaligned. It's literally so easy to line these up. They kind of just want to go where they want to go, and usually that's pretty much perfect. You really don't have to persuade it much to go into position. All the gaps came out pretty good. It's a little bit wide in the middle, and it's close up here and close around the bottom, but from a distance you really don't know. It looks pretty much OEM and factory. It lines up perfectly with the side skirt, lines up pretty much perfect with the hood, and this is a cheap crappy, sorry, it's not cheap, but it is crappy. So we have that. It lines up pretty decently. There isn't that much of a height difference between them. The bumper matches the fender. On this side, like we spoke, it's a little bit raised, but I believe it's just a flex in the carbon. This fender matches perfectly with the rest of the car. So this is the door that we are going to be snatching for mine, and these mirrors are in pretty perfect condition. So we'll be taking these before this car actually goes. I'm going to try to post this car for a little bit more than it's realistically worth. I'm going to leave the TEs on here as a negotiation tactic. I'm going to post the car for more than anybody would pay with the TEs. See if somebody wants a riced out vert on TEs. Maybe some teenager with some money, or some mommy daddy money, wants a car exactly like this. Still got the basketball in the back seat, but we'll post it for like, I don't know, I don't even want to say how much I'm gonna post this thing for. We're gonna post it with the TEs. Tell people in the description, hey, if you don't want the TEs this much, bring your own wheels, or this much I'll put on some random stocks. So we'll see what we can do. Hopefully it'll get me some more money for the car. If not, I have no problem keeping these as some spares. I think somebody is interested in buying them, but low-key, for the price I paid, I really don't even want to get rid of them. They're definitely not perfect. The tires are pretty shot, especially after a little drift session. But I don't really know. They're getting easier to find for a better price, but at the same time, it's like I already got mine for a ridiculous price. It's kind of hard. I don't think I'm ever going to get a set lower. And if I get a set lower, I'm going to be sketched because it shouldn't be that low, and I'm probably buying reps. So other than that, the vert actually doesn't look too terrible. It's pretty disgusting, but I think it matches more because of the black top and there's more contrast. It kind of fits the vibe a little bit more. So the headlights and the corner lights definitely have a little bit of gap right here, but it lines up way better than it did on my coupe. On the driver's side, it's legit a perfect gap. It's a little bit wide right here, so I do have a question. Is there supposed to be a gasket there? Is there any rubber stripping or lining, or is it just bare contact, skin on skin? It's a little bit of a bigger gap right here, but this side also is kind of being pushed in by the hood. I could possibly try to raise that hood a little bit more on that section and adjust that spring, but at the same time, it's already got a good gap. I don't kind of want to add to it. It's only pushed down in that tiny little section. I definitely think that side of the carbon hood has been flexed, but other than that, it's what you expected. It's the front end off of my coupe. It was crap, and still is. So the interior is no better condition. So we have ripped seats. What's annoying though is I sit lower in this crappy ripped up convertible seat, which is heavier and crappier, and it looks higher than my coupe seat. It looks way less sporty, but for some reason I sit lower in this seat than I do in my coupe. So if anybody could add some insight on that, I would absolutely love that, because being a tall fella at 5'4", I want to sit as low as possible, and it is very uncomfortable. And that is the main reason why I don't drive my E39 M5, is because of the seating position. It's very uncomfortable for me. I feel like my head is in the roof, and I don't sit low enough on the dash. I literally feel like I'm driving with my head out the window, and it's very uncomfortable. So that's the main reason why I don't drive most of these cars, and I end up just driving my F80, because that's the only car that I could slouch enough and still be comfortable to drive and be in an okay position. So possibly hinting at something different along the lines. I was literally just watching Stratton's video about him talking about the exact same thing with his M5. So possibly later in the future, we might have to do some type of retrofit, custom bracketing, or I really hate to do it, but we might have to go with the classiest, sportiest, lowest bucket seat possible and color match it to whatever interior I have. It's just a possibility, because I'm too tall to be sitting in these cars like a giraffe. I need to be somewhat comfortable, and then I believe that would make me drive my cars more. So that's about it for the coupe and about it for the vert. We got a little bit of Frankensteining to do, but it's really not that much. This car is pretty much back to stock. We have the stock intake again, and we have the stock muffler back on. This car is, I believe, the slightest bit lower than the actual coupe. Let me pop the hood for you, and we'll show you what monstrosity lies under this hood. This same thing as it was before. It's a little bit crappier. It's just very dirty where the intake was, but the strut tower is pretty much perfect. Engine bay is much cleaner than mine, unfortunately. Hate to say it. Reservoir is much nicer. Crappy filler neck now. Quite a bit of yellowing or fading in the plastic. The cowl is pretty much destroyed, but here we have it, the beautiful, most sought after hood in the entire world, Vorsteiner GTR carbon hood. It's beautiful. I know everybody wants this car, so if you want it, hit me up. It is for sale. Let me take a few more things and then you can have it. Same thing as the coupe. The actual washer reservoir lights are on, and now the corner lights are on. So it is flashy because the corner lights actually had like 3 resistors, 4 extra add-on HID LED boxes. I don't even know what the hell is going on, but I got a fresh ass flip up screen, and that's all I could ever ask for. Honestly, I'm not really hating on SMG anymore. It's just actually, let's say you had a perfect coupe, perfect, like good color combo, actually good interior, I really wouldn't mind it. It's damn, bro. Sheesh. As soon as I said that, I started acting up. I forgot to put it in automatic. Thought I was already in auto. Anyways, yeah, I really wouldn't mind it if this car was in like an actual good color. I mean, Alpine White is a great color, but if this was in like a Dakar yellow or crazy blue with a really nice interior, SMG wouldn't even be terrible. Of course, I'm still gonna vouch for the manual, and I'm still gonna acquire a manual, but SMG is really not bad. I think if I just had a ton of money for no reason, I would have, of course, one of each color, but I would definitely not sway away from an SMG. I would daily the hell out of this. Going around town with a little SMG, I'm sure with an actual tune, also and some maintenance, this would actually be a pretty fun car to drive as far as a daily. It's really not that bad. It's nothing on the DCT, but With the shift settings all the way up and in sport mode, this actually feels great. At first I was very scared of putting it up and actually trying to save it, but I think it's doing more damage with its turtle shifting and being super laggy and aggressive and slipping the clutches than it is just being aggressive. I could be wrong, but it just feels so much happier and so much better with it all the way up. Definitely how to drive it. So let's go home, put the cars together, and let's end off this video. I have no idea how long this video is gonna be, but it's been long awaited and something I've been waiting for. This is the real most beautiful car in the world. I will never get over seeing my car from different perspectives. Seeing it in like the pictures and how you stand is one thing, but seeing your car from like a different view you're not used to, or kind of seeing it from what would look like somebody else's view, man, that car just looks better and better every single time I see it. It's like falling in love for the first time. Sheesh. Now I got all these pieces of shit together. Go ahead and park this thing. It has no gas. Put my car in park. Yes, sir. So we are pretty much done for here. So we are pretty much done for what this is. Let me get out without smashing into my door and breaking my back. Must be nice to have your car do that. Anyways, we have the cars all at home. Whew. This looks amazing. This looks terrible. My neglected M5 sitting there peeling away at the paint. I test fit the Rep BBSs on the wheels, and boy were they aggressive with the adapters, but I'm not gonna lie, it actually looked really, really good. So here's the dyno muffler that we had to throw on this car. I'll clean it up. What really annoys me is that this is a fake exit. It's literally blocked off. I don't know why they didn't just make it a dual exit. I don't know, but either way, these wheels looked actually really, really good. They are just slightly too aggressive because of the adapter. If I didn't have to run the adapter, these would be on the M5 for sure. So we have new tires. I'm really kind of upset because Apex specs out the wheels perfect, and they're just not aggressive enough on the M5. They just don't look as they should. These wheels are way more aggressive with the BBS CHs. They're just ugly. Because of the color. If I think they were in silver, it would be way better to begin with. Hopefully the specs for the E46 M3 are what they should be. These are, I think, weak offset, but it's 18 by 10 and 18 by 11 with a spacer in the rear, and it's still got room for improvement. The same thing, these are 18 by 8.5 with, I think, 12 or 15 millimeter all the way around. Just still not aggressive, but it actually looks really good in the front. I think like a 20 mil in the rear would make this look perfect. Everything lines up quite well. Definitely going to end up ordering OEM new corners, new lenses, kind of doing a headlight rebuild. We'll go over the front again and dial everything in, but it is just where it needs to be for the moment so we can focus on other things and not hate this car and think it's the ugliest thing in the world. Now it actually looks like a real E46 M3. This is a fake E46 M3. Any questions I had, please let me know in the comments. Let me know your thoughts. I know you guys didn't want me to destroy this vert, but this vert was already destroyed from almost all aspects. Now my coupe is a little less destroyed. So we had one good car, one bad car. Now we have two real mid cars. But it's better to have a mid coupe than a crappy coupe and a good vert. Verts were already bad from the start, so I really didn't do any harm. So like, comment, and subscribe. Please don't be too mad at me for making this car pretty much disgusting and useless and terrible, but it already was, guys. So come back soon. We should have some more videos. I'm scheming right now about doing something with that. So hopefully, I'm really praying that it works out. And if it does happen, I'm really hoping it's for the better. Just give me a minute. Hopefully we can work something out. If it doesn't happen, or you don't see anything in the future, just ignore everything I just said. Like, comment, and subscribe, guys. We'll be back as soon as we can. Hopefully we got some good content coming up in the future. Hopefully we got some good plans coming up. I appreciate every single one of you for watching it. Stay tuned for the next video, and we will be back. Later, guys.